This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Swachh Survekshan 2020. The participants are Akshay Raut, former DG, Swachh Bharat Mission, and AIR correspondent Renu Kataria.
So what was the objective behind the launch of Swachh Survekshan Award and what did it aim at?
When in 2014, the Prime Minister of India, it has not happened in any other country anywhere in the world, spoke about the issue of sanitation from the ramparts of the Red Fort. And he very graphically described the pain and suffering of Indian women because of the sanitation situation in the country. If you talk about it a little more candidly, the absence of toilets and women having to move in odd hours in the morning and evening to do their rounds, and which invited to them the issues of security, other sicknesses, and also the overall issue of women's dignity. He spoke about it. And after that, the rest followed. And we had program coming up in the name of Swachh Bharat Mission. Sometimes it is also referred as Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is now 5 to 6 year old. And the results are all in front of us. One component of that, which you just now very rightly referred, is Swachh Survekshan. Swachh Survekshan, today, the results which have come out and the announcements are made are in connection with the urban side. But the much larger picture is on the 6 lakh villages on the rural side as well. But Swachh Survekshan is one of the several instruments of the whole Swachh Bharat philosophy of the Swachh Bharat Mission program, urban and rural both, to generate a level of competition between the local units. In the case of Swachh Survekshan urban, it is among the more than 4,000 cities and towns. And as you have seen, the Indore has come on top every time in the last 4 years. And then, of course, Surat, Mumbai, and several districts and towns. I have seen that some of the towns are consistently following being grade holders in Swachh Bharat Survekshan. So also on the village side, it is between the panchayat, the district, and also the state. So this gives a sense of competition to retain and sustain the culture and the activities of Swachhata movement, which the Prime Minister once very appropriate manner, he mentioned that it's not a Sarkari program, it's people's program, it's a Jan Andolan. Citizens' engagement has been a key of Swachh Bharat Mission, and that is reflected in Swachh Survekshan the most, among in other things as well. So, by taking the feedback of about 2 crore citizens in this case, the results of which were out today, one has citizens' engagement, and that citizens' engagement converts the whole program into real Jan Andolan. And the momentum is carried forward. There is more and more competition, more and more achievement, and Swachhata remains on top. And Ritu, just to mention to you and to all our listeners as well, nothing has been bigger foundational platform to fight this present pandemic, COVID-19, than the Swachh Bharat's contribution. If the Swachh Bharat was not there, if you remember, while inaugurating another instrument of Swachhata, Rashtriya Swachhata Kendra, on 8th of this month itself, the Honorable Prime Minister, he was remarking what would have happened to 600 million Indians, about 60 crore Indians, because 60% of our population were open defecators, the largest in the world. They were still going out to the open for meeting their daily requirements. What would have happened with the virus COVID-19 lurking around? What would have been the level of infection multiplication? So, Swachh Bharat Mission has made a contribution in very clear terms in making sure that people have access to toilets, women have access to toilets, go out and fall into infections. Besides, the whole culture and the temperament and the habits of hygiene, which are so important in COVID-19 control, like whether you wear a mask or you maintain a social distance or you don't sneeze in public, you don't do certain things which are antithetical to hygiene. These are all learnings and habits procured in the last 5 years and in which Swachh Survekshan has also a big role. So these are the habits which are coming to the help of common Indians now.
We also learned that Indore city has bagged the Swachh Survekshan Award 2020 for the 4th time in a row. Can you tell us the reasons behind this city bagging this position consecutively?
A lot of credit have to go to the citizens of Indore and also to the management of local municipality, the local unit heads. And bigger than that, I would think that the instrumentality of competition and pride has gone into this. This has given the city dweller or the town dweller a bigger ownership of their own city and town in terms of keeping it clean. And culture is infectious. Habits are infectious. Once these are founded by certain amount of orchestration by the government, by other parts of the society, like corporate, media, common people. And once it is ignited and once they're recognized nationally and they come and get an award and they're recognized as the top town in the country, this becomes a responsibility and a habit for the future administrators, for the future set of people and the community, that we will not allow this pride to go. That has happened not only with Indore. If you have seen this list closely, you'll find many other cities are just repeating their performance. The same is happening on the rural side also. Panchayats and districts which keep getting awards, they never leave it. So this is also in some other way a bit of liability. I would say how. There are certain parts of the country, whether some districts or some town, which may lag behind for certain reasons. I would think that we should have always a mechanism in which we don't allow them to be disheartened and give up. There must be some instrumentality to ignite them. If we have to constantly work on certain towns and certain cities, if they are not able to come on the plate for some manner, I'm sure the concerned departments, the ministries and the local entities are giving attention to this. But I must underline this point that we need to have 700 odd districts of the country and more than 4,000 cities and towns to come on the plate in a bigger manner. And Swachhata is, as I have seen it, it's a unstoppable story. And now, both on urban and rural side, I think the focus is rightly on sustainability. Because certain games, if there has been 100% open defecation free country, we have seen in history, whether in case of literacy, if you see, National Literacy Mission was very concerned about the relapse of illiteracy. So we have to have instruments like Swachh survekshan and few other instruments of monitoring and review, and also constant mobilization of the community in terms of IEC and good amount of enforcement to make sure that this heritage of Swachhata that we have got, both on the side of the towns and on the side of villages, irrespective of the crowning glory that Indore and some others can achieve, this is always consolidated and they are never lost out. So I'm very happy that certain parts like single-use plastic and treating wastewater and solid waste management in urban areas, proper segregated collection from the household levels, and then 100% safe disposal. And also now we are talking about menstrual hygiene management, like the other day Prime Minister from the Red Fort spoke about sanitary pads being distributed among women. So these are the new areas. After we have achieved an open defecation-free country, these are the new areas which are very critical unsolved elements of sanitation.
Can you also mention a few innovations and the best practices that have emerged out of the Clean India mission? Like sometime back, we also learned that there is a beach in Chennai which was cleaned with the help of a robot called the Swachh bot, made by a community maker. So what have been the innovations and best practices which have emerged out of Clean India?
Well, there are quite a few, and many of them relate to technology, which you mentioned. In fact, the whole Swachh survekshan is based on an online feedback system that itself is engagement of technology to be connected with millions of citizen evaluators. That itself is one technology application. So do you know very small and not spoken about use of technology? The twin pit self-disposing toilet is the Swachh Bharat toilet. 11 crore of them have come up in the last 6 years. And these are a simple twin pit toilet in which the one pit is used to take the human feces and then they decompose by themselves to something called Sona Khad, or one of the very qualitative manures, and the other remains silent till the time one pit is filled, and after one pit is filled, the other pit starts working. These twin pit toilets are also the simplest and most appropriate technology. Now, we were talking about certain replacement for sewage cleaners. Sometimes it is called bandicoot. Basically robotic arrangements in which the waste is lifted out so that there is no human engagement into it. So this is another type of technology. Then we have technology which has come into the fecal sludge management. We have new technologies coming in converting, say, the whole biomass. One part goes to compost and sometimes it goes to even energy conversion of green energy. These are technologies which are being encouraged both on the energy side and on the side of Swachh Bharat mission as well. These are hybrid areas in which it's a gain for renewable energy, also the gain for the concept of sanitation. And there are several hackathons which are being held under the aegis of Swachh Bharat mission just to bring up new startups, new technologies, and they're all localized. For example, can we have more effective toilet systems for our citizens who are specially abled or who have certain handicaps in using toilets. So on that, a lot of experimentation is going on. What's the most friendly for them? So there is a technology galore, and fortunately, none of these are very expensive or they require engagement of extraordinarily high level of research or something.
We have also seen that the bigger role in Clean India Mission or the Swachhta Abhiyan has been of the Swachhagrahis or the volunteers. Can you mention the role of the Swachhagrahis or ambassadors of cleanliness in the mission, and how has Clean India Mission generated employment?
When 11 crore toilets come up in the village areas, and I'm sure urban areas, there is a huge amount of waste collection and waste disposal that's happening. So several of them involve human labor, mason, and those who make bricks, those who transport material, and the skills which are engaged in constructing each unit of toilet, the small mini transport arrangements by which you collect waste. So these are all job givers. There has been huge amount of job generation. I'll give one example of Jharkhand. In Jharkhand, women have come to be known as Rani Mistris because the toilet construction to a large extent has been taken up by well-mobilized women groups. And they have made good business out of it. They have got empowerment out of it. And they are proud earning members of the family. And this has gone to other states as well. And several employment opportunities. For example, we just had the reverse migrant problem in the wake of COVID crisis. It was synchronized that the community toilets under Swachh Bharat Mission should be taken up in a special manner so that the migrants who have skills in related activities can construct toilets in their home areas and can also earn a livelihood. This has been seen as a major livelihood exercise. I think we have studies of UNICEF, WHO on these matters. And because of the time saved to families, when the toilet is at home, lot of man-days are saved. People don't fall sick. People don't have to travel long distance. Men and women, they save their time to do some job which gives them money. So if the earning of the families goes up because of Swachh Bharat Mission, so this is so far as the clear monetary gains and in terms of job gains are concerned. It is being linked now with skill development, they have special training of the mason, and they are being connected with related sanitation activities. In private sector, it is flourishing because they have to come with more and more cleanliness and more sanitation material. So this has really been some amount of gains on the finance and employment side. You see, there is an old saying which is spoken again and again in Indian bureaucracy and also many occasions. Perhaps one former Prime Minister used these words for the first time. In India, the programs will be successful if the four levels of PM, CM, DM and VM are involved and motivated. Prime Minister, who has been the communicator-in-chief and the inspiration-in-chief for Swachh Bharat Mission, and Chief Minister. A large number of Chief Ministers have taken it up their program and they have been specially involved. And then DM, the District Collector, who is the hub center, who is the nerve center of all the activities that are going on. So there has been competition like Swachh Survekshan and also several types of award recognition and ranking schemes in Swachh Bharat Mission, which has motivated the collectors and it has been put on the top of their agenda to do in the district. And then the VM, it can be village mukhya or village motivator, that is the Swachhagrahi. If at the village level we have one person, preferably a woman, who is devoted completely and also get the communities be convinced about the need for a toilet and for cleanliness all around, then that gives the beautiful result that is being now spoken about in Swachh Bharat Mission. And not only that, I'll go one step forward. In the coming up programs of Jal Jeevan Mission and in dealing with COVID situation in village, these Swachhagrahis who are champions of sanitation and hygiene, they are coming very handy because a whole rank have been developed who are trained, who are motivated, who are active. And these people are helping to restrain the infection of COVID in their neighborhood by involving the communities. And of course, these are our real ambassadors. The most important, of course, are the rank and file, are the common citizens of the country, as reflected in small towns, as reflected in the villages who are there, who have been ignited to join the Swachh Bharat movement, whether it is Swachh Survekshan or any instruments of that. And that is the key to success. Everyone has to contribute.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on Swachh Survekshan 2020. The participants were Akshay Rawat, former DG, Swachh Bharat Mission, and AIR correspondent Renu Kataria. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on a mobile app, News on AIR. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.com. You may email opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.